fall is hands down my favorite time to be in the kitchen. While the garden is still hanging on to those late summer things, you know, we have the luxury of growing year-round here on the farm. And so I can already tell and smell and feel the taste of autumn starting to show up. And I want to bring that into the kitchen this weekend, so I'm really excited. So you already know I am making a full-blown cozy farm-to-table seasonal meal because why not? So my plan is actually to start with a fun, creamy chai bourbon cocktail. I'm be real honest with you guys, okay? I am 33 years old. I've never drank bourbon a day in my life. But something about the smell of it and chai and pumpkin, I don't know. I just thought, you know what? This might actually be a really fun play to kind of embrace the seasons. And so I just want to experiment. I just want to try it. When I think about seasonally cooking and eating, I never once really think about seasonal drinks. I mean, granted, I drink a lot of herbal teas and things like that, but this time of year I'm thinking chai, moving away from the clear liquor, going into, I guess, maybe the bourbon and the whiskey, even though that's totally new territory for me. I thought it'd be fun, and I found a mocktail version for the girls, so that might be a total disaster, but we're gonna try it anyways because in the spirit of keeping this seasonal, you guys, we're doing it. And then we are going to make a hand-rolled pasta, you guys. It's very rustic. You're not gonna need any sort of pasta machine. We're literally gonna hand roll it, hand cut it. It's very rustic. It's very rustic, but it's very easy. Homemade pasta is one of those kind of quick wins in my opinion. It is authentic. It's homemade, but it's really relatively easy to kind of whip up, and more than likely you already have the ingredients for the seasonal meal sitting in your pantry or your refrigerator. So I really love the homemade pasta. It comes in clutch quite often for me when I'm trying to make a seasonal from scratch meal. It's literally just eggs, oil, and flour. So not a whole lot there. And then we are going to pair that pasta with a delicata cream sauce. Now I have got delicata squash growing out in the high tunnel, and honestly a whole lot of it. It's just a really fun, versatile squash. Now I don't really grow it for like a storage squash or anything like that, but it's just really fun to be able to make sauces like this, to deep fry. And then this is the big grand finale. I was hoping we would have pears in season, and my neighbor has a pear tree that he lets us frequent, but they haven't quite showed up there yet. So I decided to take just my standard sourdough pie crust that I use for my Pop-Tarts and anything else and make a Galette, but we still have peaches in season. So I grabbed some peaches, and we're actually gonna do a play on that. Some peaches, I think I have a couple nectarines. So we're gonna make something like that with a honey bourbon glaze to kind of tie the cocktail with the dessert. Aside from the pasta and the cream sauce, I haven't ever made this type of dessert before. So again, I feel like so much of the kitchen is just a place to experiment and explore and have fun and kind of kick off your shoes and make a nice drink and just experiment, have fun, be playful. So I thought no better way to transition into the seasons than try a few new recipes paired with some of my tried and true favorites to just create a cozy from scratch farm to table meal as we're kind of welcoming in a new season. So without further ado, my friends, buckle up because we are about to have a grand old time in the kitchen. So with anything from scratch, it's gonna take a little bit of time, and I'm gonna be honest, Mama does not have all day and hours to stay in the kitchen when I'm making a fun meal like this, right? There's the cocktail, there's the main course, I guess you would say, and then a dessert. So how I go about making from scratch easy and attainable is by prepping. Now, I shared with you guys, I made the pie crust last night. It's been in the fridge. I'm going to kind of spend my day just prepping along the way. And then probably about an hour or so before dinner is when I'm actually gonna be hands-on in the kitchen. So we're actually gonna move into making the chai simple syrup for our cocktail. And then a little bit later, we're gonna go ahead and make the pasta dough. I could even prep the pasta and just let it be drying. So I'm definitely thinking about doing this in stages. So it's like a little bit here in the morning, a little bit here early afternoon, and then we'll have like our core time in the kitchen. But I don't know about you, I got a few kids running around and it is really hard just to spend hours and hours in the kitchen. And honestly, if I was spending hours and hours in the kitchen, it probably wouldn't be that fun to me anymore. So prep work is going to be your best friend. Literally just kind of make it go throughout the day. It's gonna be way more enjoyable on you and probably manageable if I had to guess. So let's get ready making that chai simple syrup. It's so easy and you guys, it's delicious. So for our simple syrup, it is extremely easy. I have got 1 cup of water going into my saucepan with 1 cup of cane sugar. Now you can omit the cane sugar and you could do honey, you could do a maple syrup. I have made simple syrups using those and they just don't quite act the same, probably because it's just like a lot of liquid. All right. Then this is going to go on the stove to dissolve. And then I'm going to take about 4 bags of my chai tea and I'm gonna steep them for about 10-15 minutes. If you were using a loose leaf chai, which would be ideal, but I don't have any in stock right now, you do around 2 to 3 tablespoons. So I really want that chai flavor, so I'm doing 4. I am convinced if fall had a smell, it would have to be a chai tea. I mean, it just smells so good. So now we're just gonna pour it off into my little container here. Perfect. So here's my little beautiful simple syrup. I've got to find the lid for it. I don't know about you guys, but I never can seem to keep these. So for now, I'm just gonna put a little tea towel on it while I keep searching, and we will start prepping this stuff for the pasta. So this is a fun special dinner I'm doing for me and the girls. Nate's actually out helping a friend all day and into the evening, and so he is actually cooking for Nathan, and the girls love candlelit dinners. They love helping make the pasta. Like, they just love being in the kitchen, and it's really just a joyful experience for me to invite them into my sacred space. So this was not on the agenda, but I think I'm gonna go harvest some flowers and make a fun little tablescape while I'm kind of in between prep work. So let's head out to the garden real quick and cut some beautiful, beautiful flowers. Next up, let's prep our pasta. For me, this is just rustic farm to table, right? Just taking really basic ingredients, flour, eggs, and oil, and making something really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna have all the recipes down for you guys in the description, but for me, typically I'm making that first transition seasonal meal as a soup. And so I don't think I've ever made a play on pasta as like the first transitional season here, but I don't know, I like to keep my family on their toes, so I thought, why not? First, you're gonna start with 2 cups of ideally an all-purpose flour. Very rarely do we keep all-purpose in the house. We usually always use a bread flour, so that's what I'm doing. You could mix it, you could do whatever you have on hand, but roughly you're gonna need about 2 cups. You're gonna need 3 eggs. We're gonna kind of make a swell in the middle, and then we're just gonna add some oil. This is an infused oil, so I'm really just doing this for a flavor more than anything. I'll tell you, you will not be able to do this sitting down, so we will have to transition up in just a second, but we're just gonna plop our flour. See how we've kind of made a little hole in the middle. Oh yeah. Now I always have a tendency want to over oil this part. I end up having to add more. So I'm gonna do like maybe a tablespoon. And really, like I said, it's just for flavor. Crack our eggs. Woo! A-R. Something about just feeling it, you know? It feels so right. Thank you.
That was your favorite. I need to fix.
Using a pasta machine, that does not work in your favor. So I'm actually just prepping this, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. So I'm just kind of working it in a mass. We're just gonna kind of let it rest for a minute. Look at that, y'all. So had I prepped this earlier this morning, I would wrap it up in some plastic wrap and pop it in my fridge. But it's about 2:30 in the afternoon here, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll this out into sheets using just a rolling pan, and then I'm gonna get the girls in here that actually help me with that part. It's their favorite part of the pasta, and then we're just gonna take a knife and go ahead and cut it. So you can definitely, when I'm talking about prepping all the things to make this an easy from scratch dinner, prep as much as you can, dough included. But for me, I just kind of timed it all right. I don't even really know how I did that, but I'm really glad I did. So I'm gonna go grab the kiddos and get all of our tools, which is just a knife and a rolling pin, and meet you guys back in the kitchen. Pressure, there we go. Okay, let's let Charlie have a turn.
Open them.
Good job.
Turn sideways. Yeah.
So last time I tried to hand cut pasta, I used this little pastry cutter. It was horrible. I mean, like, some kind of horrible. So I think a knife is just gonna be the best bet. I will say if you want this to look a little more put together, you could use some sort of pastry cutter if you're good at like cutting straight lines. But for me, that's just wildly comical. So I'm just gonna go grab a small knife. I'm probably gonna let the girls cut some of these, so they're certainly gonna look rustic, but I think that's probably part of the whole point, right? We're gonna cut these up. The girls did put together my drying rack for me, right over here. So, thank you, Abby June.
Charlie!
So they put this together for me, so we're gonna go ahead and cut them and just go ahead and let them dry. You could do this and immediately start making your pasta. Really, it's just for me to have, you know, the ability to prep a little ahead of time. Okay, and then you're not gonna go all the way down either because we don't wanna ruin the table, okay? So we're gonna do a couple for June, we'll hang them on, and then we'll do a couple for Charlie.
You can go first.
It's okay. So look, this is the line that we're...
I thought that was...
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then put your knife down. Pick it up. And then we're gonna dangle it. These could even be way thinner.
Be careful, I don't want you to cut your finger off because you like your finger, right? Oh, I didn't even cut deep enough, actually. Don't cut too deep. That's a long one. Here, you gotta put it kind of like close.
Girls, y'all are doing so good.
Girls.
So you can see this is actually pretty thick. And so what I am doing, since it didn't go through a pasta machine, I'm just taking these with my wooden roller and rolling them a little bit more just to make them a little bit thinner. I don't want them to have a really like gummy, chewy texture. So I think just by rolling them out some, it's gonna help that quite a bit. So girls are doing a fine job.
Yeah.
So now let's move into roasting and prepping our delicata squash. So these are pretty small. If you've ever worked with delicata or you've ever grown it, you know they get quite a bit bigger. But I think this is gonna be enough, even if I have to add some sort of cream. We're gonna do like a brown butter and sage sauce. We're gonna add some of the pasta water, but I might even add a little cream. So what we are going to do is just cut the squash in half. We are going to scoop out the seeds. We're gonna throw some olive oil, salt and pepper, roast them at 425 for about, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes. Look at those. Give them a little scoop. Wow, smell good.
Let's go get dressed for the talent show tonight.
Dessert prep is fully underway. So this is kind of a hybrid because I've got a couple peaches and a couple nectarines. So we're just gonna go with it. Again, I'm trying to prep. Some of these aren't as soft as I would have hoped either, but that's okay. I've got some brown sugar. I've got some cinnamon and some nutmeg. I would have loved to had fresh nutmeg, but I cannot figure out where to get that for the life of me. So that's okay. I'm just going to peel these and then I'm going to thinly cut them, toss them in this bowl, and then I'm going to coat them with this. I'm actually probably going to throw some flour in there to thicken it up some too. And then while this is just kind of marinating, hopefully softening the fruit some, I will start rolling out our pie crust. Now, in theory, I would love to have a warm Gillette coming from the oven, but I think in my case, it might be easier. I don't know, I'm gonna see. It might be easier to go ahead and just cook the dessert now. This is gonna have to cook for, I think, around, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. So it's still kind of early in the afternoon here, just trying to prep as much as I can. I cannot wait to try this with apples. I'd love to try this again when the pears are in season, probably later in September. I'm gonna go ahead and add a tablespoon of flour to this because this is what's gonna kind of thicken everything up. Oh, what the heck. I mean, if only you guys could smell my house right now. Like, holy smokes. It's amazing, in case you're wondering. It's so, so good. All right, so I prepped the filling. It's in the fridge. I'm gonna add some lemon juice to it before we stuff it all in. But now I just have my pie dish. It's seasoned, of course. And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of work on the dough. Oh, yeah, buddy. Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna work great. Let's fill her up. Did I mention that my house smells amazing? So I'm actually gonna pop this in the fridge. I'm not going to lap the crust over just yet because I'm afraid it's gonna get soggy, you know, if I kind of do that. So I'm just gonna pop it in the fridge. After I make my cream sauce, then depending on what time it is, I will probably go ahead and bake it because I know it's gonna take a while. So we're at, I think 425 degrees and about 35, 40 minutes. I am gonna do an egg wash and then I'm going to go harvest some thyme from the garden. I'm gonna steep it with some honey and do like a drizzle over it. Wow, I truly have no idea what I'm doing here. I don't think I have enough ice. Well, it certainly looks festive. Cheers. Woo!
Can I try it?
No. So, wow. It tastes great. A little strong, probably because I've never had bourbon a day in my life, but the flavor is there. So the recipe called for 3 ounces. I would have only done 2 ounces to be honest, but when I think about a fall cocktail, even if I did a play on this for like a apple spiced something, the flavor is actually really, really good. It's just a little strong, so I might find a way to dilute it or maybe just try again. And there you have it, friends. An entire cozy seasonal dinner to just kind of transition with the seasons. So much for me of intentional living is learning to shift when the seasons shift. That means cooking seasonally, eating seasonally, slowing down in the fall and winter, and ramping up in the spring and the summer. And for me, there's nothing more gratifying than making that first transitional cozy farm to table meal of the season. And I'm really excited I got to share it with you all. Had our pumpkin chai latte, which was strong, but in my opinion, worth making again and modifying. Had our hand rolled pasta that the girls just did so great. It was just perfect. It was rustic. It was simple, but also pretty elevated. And then of course, our delicious dessert. These are humble, simple ingredients that with a little love and a little extra care and attention in the kitchen can turn into things that are beautiful. They can create memorable, special moments for you and your family. So as we are kind of getting into this hustle and bustle, right? Maybe kids are starting back to school, maybe your seasons are transitioning too. I encourage you just to slow down a little, look at the ingredients around you, and really feel inspired to take them into the kitchen and create something beautiful. Do not forget, all the recipes I shared with you guys today are gonna be down in the description below. And if you love content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps small channels like me really grow, and I appreciate it more than you know. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me, friends, and we'll see you next week.